Hello, everybody. Well, shout out to my tiny little hillbilly number two, Buddy Steyer. I know you don't want to hear me tell another story sitting at the computer, but bear with me. I got to tell a quick story about the time I jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco and lived. Back in 72, 73, I was 17 or 18, and I remember my parents took us all to California to see cousin Gary, Joe Sambui, and Aunt Jean and Uncle Larry. So we drove from Waco, Texas, all the way to San Francisco. Well, first we went to uh, Disneyland, and I remember, I can't remember exactly. I think I was 18. I'm not sure, 17, 18. But Disneyland wasn't that good for me because I could see the strings holding the fish underwater, on a submarine ride, and it just wasn't that good for little kids. Anyway, we went to Fisherman's Wharf. Uncle Larry and Aunt Jean took us all to Chinatown, Lombard Street, the Crooked Street in San Francisco, all that. We had a blast. Went down to Fisherman's Wharf, ate all that good food and all this, went all over the place, and they lived in Fairfield. But they just kept taking us around and showing us all this stuff. And I think we went on our own one day, Mom and Dad and my two little brothers, Carl and Cliff, and we went down San Francisco Bay, went down underneath the Golden Gate Bridge down there on the San Francisco side to Fort Point, the old Civil War fort that was down there. I think it was Civil War, but it was a huge old fort. They had old cannons up there and everything. And so, I'd heard all my life about people jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. Nobody lived because it was such a long drop. And, I was looking at it. We had, driven across it, and then we came back, and then we went to that Fort Point down there. And the whole time we were down there, I was looking up there and trying to figure out exactly where the bridge left the earth, left the land, and see what there was right there. And I kept scoping it out. And I'm a 17, 18-year-old athlete, man. I was tough. I could jump off the roof of my house, no big deal, no problem. Jump off the peak if I had to, but you just hit and roll, tuck and roll. So I get it all figured out. I'm looking up there, and right where the bridge goes off, there's like a 45, 50-degree embankment of grass, and it's smooth looking. I said, that's no problem. I'll jump off that sucker. So we're down at that fort. We go around, do all this stuff, had a lot of fun, and then we go up and we drive. I don't know, had to drive forever to go up and get up there, and we're going to walk out on the bridge. So we had to park way back off in there somewhere, and then we're walking along, and I remember we're on the east side of the bridge. The traffic's headed north there, and so we're walking down this big, huge sidewalk, and we're getting close to the bridge, and then the bridge starts. And there's these huge cables this big around, and bare, pipes and everything for the sidewalk, and rails about waist high or higher. And I had it all figured out. I said, right there, when that leaves, man, I'm gonna jump right there where it leaves the earth. And sure enough, we get walking along, and there's Carl and Cliff with me, Mom and Dad behind me, and two little old ladies behind me. And I'm walking along, and I'm right holding my hand on the rail, looking, and there we go. Oh, yeah, it's about as big as the peak of our house back in Waco, Texas. So it's going to be a pretty serious jump. I figure, what the heck? The rest of your life, you can say you jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and lived. And so we get right there to where all of a sudden now there's no more concrete and everything. It drops off, grass dropping away at a 45-degree angle. And I just put my hand on the rail. I said, I'll see y'all later. And I just vaulted over the side of that rail. Those two little old ladies screamed bloody murder. Ah! Carl tried to go behind me. Dad snatched him back. And I hit, and it was I hit, tucked, and rolled. And then I had to walk for blocks and blocks to get way back up around there. And my mother was not happy at all, to say the least, that I jumped off that bridge, even though it was only like 2.5 stories high. But so I jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and lived. Then we went way out in the middle of it, and oh my gosh, I see why nobody lives out there, because it's so high, and we were spitting off the side, and your spit would go down about, I don't know, 100 feet, and the wind would catch it and blow it all the way to Alcatraz Island almost. The wind was so bad. But yeah, you ain't going to jump off the middle and live at all. But I jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and lived, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I hope y'all are having a great day. Please subscribe and share to my little YouTube channel. Protect your friends and family. Take 3 big, deep breaths. Just try it right now. Breathing is a leader. It'll relax you. It'll lower your heart rate. It'll lower your blood pressure. Take care of your friends and family. Have a good one. Let's see if I can turn this thing off. Okay. Everybody have fun. Adios.